What's up, guys? Welcome to Q&A Mondays. I'm Thad Barnette. Today we're learning all about a substrate for metal roofing and other metal construction applications called ZAM. Today I've got Bill Rader from WHEELING-NIPPON. He's the Vice President of Commercial and the GM of ZAM Marketing. Thank you for being here, Bill.
Thad, thank you for having me. Really appreciate it. Excited about our discussion here today.
Absolutely, and I think this is going to be really beneficial to, not only a Sheffield Metals customer, but anybody who's in the metal construction industry, because this is kind of a cool substrate that merges both the corrosion resistance and coastal applications of aluminum with the strength and durability of steel. So let's get into it and talk a little bit about what is ZAM.
ZAM actually is a brand name. It's also an acronym for zinc, aluminum, and magnesium, which is the composition of the coating materials that we apply to the cold roll full hard substrate that we apply here in Fallensville, West Virginia.
Okay, so yeah, tell me a little bit about ZAM. That right now, if people think metal roofing, metal construction, their minds go to something like Galvaloom, galvanized in the steel world, and then just a pure aluminum product. So tell me a little bit about how ZAM stacks up to other substrates in the industry.
No, that's great. First of all, at WHEELING-NIPPON Steel, we are a galvanized converter. We operate 2 coating lines here. We make all those galvanized products. We make galvanized, we make Galvaloom, we make aluminized, and we also make our ZAM product. And all those coatings are applied on 2 different lines that we operate here. The zinc aluminum magnesium product that we're highlighting today actually has been around for a little over 25 years. It was invented in Japan by Nissin Steel, later acquired by Nippon Steel. And we installed our capacity in 2012. And what actually brought us to the market was our automotive customers. So they were the early adopters of ZAM to begin with. And afterwards, we started finding new applications for this here in the United States, and specifically the coastal roofing market, which we've really been going after very heavily over the last 4 years or so, has just been a great success. It's just a really good story there. We're locally supplied, domestic material. I think we have a really good story to tell homeowners, building owners, architects, etc., that there's strength behind steel and the ZAM product.
But let's talk about that story. If somebody thinks coastal metal roofing or metal construction, they think aluminum, because with most steel products, you can't get a warranty near a coastline. So tell me a little bit about that story.
So the way we designed this product, the benefits of the cut edge protection that the ZAM product offers, allows us to be able to get into some areas that some of our traditional coated products that we make can't get there and offer a warranty. Certainly from a Sheffield Metals standpoint and the market SKU approach and the coastal roofing side of things, we do offer this ZAM Coastal Warranty. It's 26 and 24 gauge product that actually gives a perforation warranty of 20 years, 6 months. It does require a PVDF or an FEVE paint system to be applied, ZAM 90 minimum coating weight. We do ask that, that this material be installed with a 300-foot setback from any type of breaking surf, but 0 setback on any type of inland waters or brackish waters, which is really kind of a featured benefit of the warranty that we offer. And it is going to be strictly on unexposed fastener type roofing system, so your standing seam roof, which is really popular in a lot of those coastal areas. The second type of warranties out there is for kind of all the other applications.
Okay, yeah, and it sounds like from what I'm gathering, if you compare ZAM to something like Galvaloom, it being near that coast, even that 300-foot range or greater, it offers better corrosion resistance. Why is that?
Well, I think the biggest piece of it is the magnesium content in the coating. The cut edges are probably the most vulnerable parts of a steel item on a coastal roof. It's prone to red rust. That's something that's not only aesthetically displeasing to folks, but also is a source for that to migrate up through the panel and cause some type of compromise in the panel and the roofing system eventually. So the ZAM coating allows that fine zinc layer that also has aluminum and magnesium elements in it to coat over that edge and really seal it off. And it prolongs the life of those roofing systems. It's really a unique product and different from some of the other galvanized products.
Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, how does the magnesium actually make a difference with that coating? Because we know with zinc, you have that galvanic protection. and you have that barrier created with the aluminum. So what does the magnesium do?
When you're slitting or punching holes or doing any type of shearing that you might have to do in the formation of these panels and so forth, those cut edges become exposed. And as the metal goes through wet and dry cycles, so your normal kind of atmospheric conditions, it's carrying this fine zinc layer over that edge. While it may present itself as a little bit of a red rusty edge at the beginning, it eventually turns a darker gray or black over time and really just kind of seals off that edge, and it prolongs the life of the product.
Awesome. Yeah, that's very great to know. So it's almost like a self-healing characteristic.
That's a very good way of putting it, self-healing.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit more about other environments that ZAM might be a good application for that maybe a Galvaloom or galvanized substrate wouldn't be.
Well, I think from a agricultural building perspective, that's some of the other markets that we've been actually approaching. And there's a lot of interest in it simply because as those markets really require a lot of corrosion resistance, and there's a lot of G90, G100, and even heavier type coating weights being used, which are all fantastic. But we're able to offer an optimized coating thickness. And a lot of our customers are actually using ZAM 50 in those applications. And what that allows that to do is the base metal thickness actually gets a little heavier, so there's more sturdiness in the panel itself. So what we're seeing is a lot of our customers are taking this out into the agricultural building market for animal type buildings that might house hogs and poultry, etc. And they're actually having success in doing so. And we're pretty excited about supporting that part of the business as well.
Yeah, great point, great point. That is something we talk about, in those ag type markets where you have that potential for corrosion. Having that option is a big deal. So I also want to go back real quick to that coastal discussion real quick, because you mentioned that the corrosion resistance of ZAM is superior to other type of steel products near that coastline. But having steel near a coastline gives you the uplift strength of steel that you wouldn't otherwise get from aluminum. Can you speak to that for me?
Well, what we're offering is our ZAM product in both 26 and 24 gauge product. And a lot of the building codes and states such as Florida and so forth already have a structural grade 50 or 50 KSI material approved in those hurricane prone zones. So it's a very easy material for our customers to roll form, to handle, to get up on the roof. The feedback we're getting from the field is they really enjoy using the steel products. They just recognize it. Their tooling and machines that form the panels, it just runs through there very nicely, which is another design benefit of the product that we offer here as ZAM. So it's a familiar product to those roofers.
Absolutely, yeah. So in the last, 13 years or so since there's been ZAM capacity here, what myths and misconceptions have you heard that you can kind of help dispel?
That's a good question. I'd like to maybe turn that around and say, instead of talking about myths and misconceptions, maybe talk a little bit more about kind of the facts and, forget about the myths. First of all, it's a greener product. Because of the optimized coating weights out there, in order to get that protection that you need from a corrosion, we can optimize our coating weights for the specific customer's end uses. Coastal roofing specifically, we're going to suggest ZAM 90 because that's a very aggressive atmosphere and building conditions that you need to construct properties and roof in. I think also it's a good story on aluminum. So much of the aluminum that's available is imported. And, for us, we're a domestic supplier. All of our contents are domestic. We're made in West Virginia. We're only about 45 minutes from Pennsylvania. And we have a lot of great reach into the United States. So we ship all the way to Florida. We actually ship out to the west coast of the United States, and certainly in our home zone, within about 500 miles of our plant, we're very relevant. And I think it also talks a lot about the fact that a ZAM product is going to have prolonged value because of that cut edge protection and the edges getting sealed off. There's definitely value to be delivered here using this product and roofing type applications.
Yeah, absolutely. And, from a customer's perspective, if we look at Galvaloom or aluminum, We can expect to pay a little bit more for aluminum. Where does ZAM sit in kind of relation to the other substrates as far as cost goes?
So, from a cost perspective, I'm not an expert in the aluminum market, but what I've been told is that our 24 gauge product that competes against the 032 aluminum out there in the marketplace for those type of coastal roofing is very competitive. And, certainly when you're talking about shipping long distances, and I already mentioned that we ship really across the entire continental United States, we've been able to find a competitive niche wherever we go because, again, people believe in the product, the strength in the steel, the fact that the coating actually performs in these aggressive environments.
Is there anything that we missed?
Well, just getting back onto the green product side of things, there's always an option to put more coating weight on products. And I mentioned in the agricultural building side of things, when you're using 1 ounce of zinc to offer the corrosion protection that you need, and now we can put a 1/2 ounce of ZAM on. It's fully optimized. We're using less of the Earth's natural resources and really providing a product that is more than suitable for those applications out there. And we're really excited about promoting that aspect of ZAM as well.
Yeah, so speaking of being excited about ZAM, where do you see the demand going in the next 5 to 10 years? What's the future of ZAM?
We're really excited about ZAM. Certainly, from a perspective of who's using it, where it's being used, where it's being made. ZAM is only produced here in the United States by Wheeling-Nippon Steel. We expect additional competition to come on board, and I think you can already see that in the ASTM specification where ZAM is specified, which is ASTM 1046. We're in the Type 1 category. That simply means when the ASTM 1046 was developed, we were one of the first 2 products, the other one being Super Dyma, which was made by Nippon Steel, was in that field. Now you look at ASTM 1046, there's actually 7 different types. So that just reflects the competition and the market demand for these types of zinc, aluminum, magnesium products, not just here in the United States, but globally also.
So what other common applications do you see ZAM being a good fit for?
Yeah, certainly from a green energy perspective, we are finding the solar green energy part of the business is really kind of booming with zinc, aluminum, magnesium product. We've actually found uses in in-ground steel wall swimming pools of all things, which use heavy coating weights, and they like our ZAM, not only because it offers the corrosion protection they need, but it's also a very nice smooth surface. So it's a really good application for that. And lastly, rain screen attachment systems. We have a customer that used to use regular galvanized products, adopted ZAM, turned over their entire manufacturing using our ZAM product, and that's been one of our longest term customers we have.
Awesome. Well, as we wrap up, I want to thank you, Bill. I want to thank Wheeling-Nippon for allowing us to discuss this and for you to come on the channel.
Well, thank you, Thad. We appreciate the opportunity to highlight this product, and we appreciate certainly your interest in sharing this information out with your customers and the industry.
Where can people learn more about ZAM?
You can look us up, Wheeling-Nippon.com, certainly. We have all types of contact information. We have a LinkedIn page specifically for Wheeling-Nippon Steel. We'd ask you to follow us in there. We're posting a lot of good salient information across all of the end uses for all of our products, but we're really featuring ZAM as being kind of our highlighted product.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching. Comment down below if you have any questions. Subscribe here to the Metal Roofing channel. As always, I'm Thad Barnette. We'll catch you next time.